It is
This
a simple
conference
slide
will
about
now be recorded.
industrial revolution and what do you mean by legacy technology. What are you gonna do? Then we'll see about cloud, and then we'll see what is Salesforce inside this cloud, and then we'll start comparing Salesforce with other technologies, and then we'll discuss about the job opportunities, course content, etc., etc. Okay, I think everyone is aware of it. A very common slide in the industrial revolution slide. So first industrial revolution is teams which came between 1760, I mean late 1700s. Post that you got electricity, and then in 1900 we got computers, and now we are in artificial intelligence, right? So which means that every, if you see this, between somewhere around every 100 years you are getting a new thing. And now we are into artificial intelligence, where of course not just Salesforce, many other technologies are using it, which means basically you're uh, here when you start with third industrial revolution. So basically you have to, if I want to send a command to my computer, I should be able to write some coding, for example maybe Java or Oracle, .NET, whatever, so that I can send the right command. But if you go to the next one, I can ask my car to drive without me, right? I can ask my watch to call my friends, or I can ask my light to switch on just by making sounds out, or just enable some artificial intelligence, so that the moment I enter, based on my body temperature, the lights will switch on. Or I can ask my Alexa to play a song for me, right? So these are the different products that are available, and even Salesforce is working on artificial intelligence as well. We call them we call it as Einstein analytics. Okay, so just to make sure, I mean, I'm just trying to introduce where Salesforce fits in. Okay, before this, what is an application? Why do we need an application? First of all, any answers from anyone? Okay. So in most of the sessions, the common answer that I'll get is, Ram, application is a tool or a feature which basically helps me to reduce a human effort, right? So a very simple example. Let's say I want to do a transaction in a bank. Let's say I want to transfer maybe $100 to my friend. If you go 10-15 years back, so you have to go to the bank, give his account details, and ask the banking manager, or maybe a person in the bank to do the transfer with your signatures and all. But now you can do using a fingertip. So what's the difference between this in this in what is the difference here? So you have saved your time. Basically your time is money, right? That got saved. And your effort, right? It's not just about the time, right? You have to stay in the queue, all these things also got sorted. So it reduces the human effort, or it helps you to make your job a little more easier, right? So but whenever someone asks me, okay Ram, what is an application, I will have two definitions. One is of course the one that we have seen as a customer side. But if you ask me, what is the definition of the application from the developer perspective, or maybe from the organization who developed that application, for them this is a revenue generating feature for their company, right? It's an asset for the company. The more number of people are using it, the longer the people are using it, the more amount of income will be generated from this application, right? Because I'm a developer, I have to look onto the other side. Right now, how these applications are getting evolved. So so I regularly see some videos in Facebook. So there is something called some 5 minutes crafts or something. So what will happen is, someone use some product, someone tries to do something, it gets failed, then he'll think about it, he'll get an idea, and then he'll start building some tool, right? Same feature here also. So the moment you see, let's say, consider the same example that we discussed. So I'm one of the developer or one of the person who is holding a company where we develop applications. So I've seen people standing in the queue, so they are doing the transactions manually. So I just got an idea, hey, why can't I build an application which will associate with this banking system and help these people to do the transactions without standing in the queue? Good idea, right? So the moment I get an idea, for example, 10 years back or 15 years back, there was no cloud, right? Or at least that is not that, cloud is not that popular. So I have to go with the age old technologies like Oracle, Java, or whatever, and start building it. So here the problem is building an application is not a big deal because I am well versed with Java or Oracle. I'm a very good mobile developer. But the problem is I need to set up the platform for this, right? Where I need some area where it's not like I can just open my notepad and write the code and save and deploy, right? So I need a server which will hold the number of users. So when I'm buying the server, I need to see how many people might use my application, and I need to install some software, define the access, set up the reports, or even the security. I need to build the best security because it is a banking application, right? So all these things has to be taken care, and at the end, I have to build the application. And somehow, let us say, when I struggled a lot, and I built the application, and I have given it to the people. People will say, "Hey, can you build it in mobile?" Because I've seen lot many of my friends got well settled 10 years back when they were learning this thing, web development, because they used to do a part-time jobs as well. So a lot of the companies for the website designing and all, they used to get too many contracts because they can build the responsive screens for mobiles. But yeah, developers are getting good money. But if you think about the company who is paying it, they are losing extra on an extra resource, right? So this is one loss. And to set up this entire infrastructure, at least I need around 6 months or 7 months based on the time I am based on the application, and then I can start building it. So close to it, the application build up will take close to around a year, right? Again the problem is, let's say I bought a server. When you speak about server, it will have a user capacity. So if I buy a server which has 50 user capacity, which means that at any point of time, maximum number of users that can use my application is 50. More than that, either the application will crash or my server will also might crash, right? To avoid that, based on the user traffic, I have to keep on increasing my size of the server. Okay, that is fine. I'll keep increasing the size of the server by replacing with a new server or connecting with a serial mode or something, because I'm getting profits from huge number of customers. But if there is any day where maybe a person called Lakshmi who built a similar application with much more advanced features, then I'll be losing my customers. That time I have a dead investment over here because I have invested a lot on increasing the capacity of a server, maybe from 50 to 1000. But now maximum number of users using my application is somewhere around 45, where they won't see any performance issues, but I will see a loss in my investment. I won't get the return of investment, right? So basically I have to set up this room, and when you're speaking about the server, you have to, it will generate too much heat. So I have to set up the air conditionings. I have to enable this cable routings and all, and then I have to pay extra cost for the people who are maintaining it. All these things is an extra burden for me, but I am taking it, right? So to avoid this, we have something called cloud computing, right? So this is the on-premise application, that is the legacy application, where you will be a resource owner. The person who built the application will be taking care of the entire application model, right? The infrastructure along with the data and even the application. But when you come to cloud computing, so you will have again basically a simple service provider. Hey, they'll say that, hey Ram, you want to build an application? Okay, just give me some subscription amount. I'll give you a space. I will set up an environment. You can come and build your application based on your requirement. This is what a cloud computing service providers will say. Now, there are some types here. What are they? Infrastructure, platform, and software. Now, in the infrastructure, a very good example is your Amazon Web Services. That is why it is a little costlier as well. So they won't give you everything. They'll say that, hey, you have a problem in the storage earlier, right? I'll give you a space, and I'll set up a server for you. And to build the application, I'll give you a virtualization concepts, networking, everything I'll be maintaining. But you have to build your own OS. For integration, you have to build your own middleware, runtime, data, everything you have to take care. So it is, I would say, that is why it is called as infrastructure as a service. Basic infrastructure will be given to you, and the rest you have to maintain. So it is, I would say, it is semi on-premise area, right? To avoid, then we have something called platform, where our force.com, which is a part of the platform of Salesforce, comes into picture. This is one of the, I would say, cheapest license that Salesforce will offer. So here, force.com, what it is, basically a platform which will set you everything, and it will say that if you want to build an application, you go and build your application, maintain your data. Now someone says, yeah, I don't have the time to build the application, maintain my data, because I'm using a very simple or a market standard sales process, or a market standard service process. I need something to be ready made. Then I'll go with software as a service, where you can buy a Salesforce license, because whenever I'm buying a Salesforce license, it will by default give me some 7 or 8 market standard applications like sales, service, marketing, community, all these things. And it says that, see, I'm giving you all these applications for free along with the license that you're buying, right? Now it is up to you whether you want to use it or not. Okay, if you don't want to use it, Salesforce will suggest you, hey, better you go with the platform license. Now it will cost you a little lesser, but when I go with the Salesforce license, it will be a little more, where it saves your time in building the application. You can use the applications. And I'm saying that it is market standard application, which means the general, let's say if you go with the sales process, what you'll do marketing, you'll get the inquiries, you call those inquiries, convert them to your customers, then the customers will do transaction. The same process will be there in the sales application. Similarly, service, marketing, other applications also. And it'll say that if you want, this is the process that is defined at market level. You want to use it, you use it. Now Ram will say that, yeah, I will use it, but I don't have inquiries at all. People will directly jump in the moment I release a product in the market. People will come and buy. I don't need it. Then we'll say, okay, if you want to tweak the application, you tweak it so that it meets your expectations. Now I'll say that, no, no, yeah, I don't even use this process. I need it for my internal application, because I'm not selling any product. I'm from an education and industry, so I want to maintain this application for my students, where they want to go for maybe college trips and all. So can I capture the details whenever they want to go any college trips? They want to capture something. Yes, you can do. Or I will say, no, no, I want to build a leave tracking system in my organization. Can I do this? Yes, you can do. You can build your own applications as well, or you can tweak the existing application. This is what Salesforce will say. Okay, so these are a couple of examples. For example, one of the simple example for software as a service is GoToMeeting, the one that we are using now. So it is, GoToMeeting is nothing but a software which is built and provided to you as a service through internet. That is what is SAS. Okay, of course Salesforce will pitch in here itself, and in the PaaS you'll have platform as a service, you'll have force.com. Okay, any questions till now, anyone? Let me know if the session is getting bored. Then this is something which is very interesting. So one of the common problems with any new technology that is coming into the market is integrations. Or now Salesforce says, let us say Raj is the person, or lady, right? Let's say I'll take Deepthi as the name. Deepthi is a person who wants to start a business. Now let's say she is selling maybe some dresses in the market. So she'll buy the raw, she needs to buy a raw material, right? So so for that, she can build her own application. Okay, where she have to capture all the details for the raw materials that she's buying, right? For that, Salesforce says that, okay, we'll help you with a platform. And then now she says that, okay, I'm ready with my product, I want to sell this product in the market. Then we have sales application, and application was sold, and someone will come and say that they want to change the dress, maybe the size is not fitting, or maybe the quality of the dress is not good, or maybe some restitching or something. They'll say, yep, I'll give you a service as well. Okay. And if you want to do a marketing for a new product and all, we have an application for marketing. And now she says that, okay, I will do all this, but I want to set up a website where customers will come and buy the product on my own. I don't want to push it in the e-commerce websites like Amazon, Flipkart, and all. Then they'll say that we do have a commerce application. You can build your own custom applications, and to analyze your complex data, we have Einstein Analytics. And this is one of the common problems that every new technology is facing, which is integrations. Because I'll come up with a wonderful technology in the world, and I will say, you have to, if you want to use this application, you have to use the same application. I cannot communicate with anything else in your organization. Then if I go with this proposal to any company, they'll say, okay, I'll call you back later. Why? Because most of the companies have invested a lot on the other technologies, right? So let us say if you go to a bigger organizations like IBM, Wipro, or maybe CTS or Citibank, they have invested a lot on this SAP service. Now, if I go there and I say, okay, don't use your SAP here, like Salesforce is pretty good. You use only Salesforce. Then they'll say, okay, they can't, because these are the companies which are there in the market from decades, right? They'll have used data. It's not something that I can simply jump into and different technology and start using it. But if I say this is one of the best technologies, and this can communicate with any other technologies that you are using, and you can use this as a front end or even as a back end, then they'll come. So if I want to speak with other one, so in the human language, we'll use some languages, maybe English, Telugu, Hindi, Kannada, Malayalam, whatever. But if it is inside IT, I need to speak with APIs, right? Like if I want to communicate between two different technologies, so I need some APIs, and that language will indirectly call as integration. So Salesforce is capable of integrating with any system in the world, because they bought technology called a company called MuleSoft around last year or last to last year for $750 million. So this is one of the best tool that Salesforce uses, and you can connect with any system. And you have something called Google Drive, right? So similar experience, you have some, we call it as Quip in Salesforce. And if you want to learn new features of Salesforce, because Salesforce says that it's not static product that I have built around 10 years back and you still you want to use it, because if market is evolving, I have to evolve myself, right? That is why you are here. So in couple of multiple people from this crowd, maybe you might be a fresher, or maybe you might be an experienced also. So so why, even if you have a good experience, why you came here and to learn Salesforce? Because you want to switch the technology. Why do you want to switch the technology? Because Salesforce is something new and it has a good demand, which means you are trying to adopt the the current market, right? So similarly, whenever a customer says that, hey, I'm facing this problem, Salesforce will consider that as an idea which is generated by by the people in the portals, as in the communities, and then they'll come up with, by building those applications as sorry, that by building these features and release it thrice in every year: summer, winter, spring. So it keeps on evolving with the market, and those features you can learn in the trailblazers. And then, coming to the industries, Salesforce is not an application or a tool which is built for industries like bigger organizations, because it has very vast sorry so it has very vast range of licenses, which starts with somewhere around $2.7 per user per month to $10,000 per user per month. It depends, like, so industries like very big industries like oil and gas industries, maybe British Petroleum, Shell, and many other organizations are using Salesforce. Or education industries like Stanford University, Harvard is using Salesforce. And if you go to financial area, your Citigroup, which is one of the biggest financial industry in the world, they 60%, if I'm not wrong, 60 to 70% of their transactions is completely dependent on Salesforce. And if you are an Indian, Paytm is using Salesforce. Their backend is all Salesforce itself. And then there are a lot of other smaller organizations. Again, if you ask me if there is any small company, I would say Redbus, because Redbus, of course, it got grown up to a big one. But uh, it was started by just two people around 3 years, 4 years back, right? So Redbus is using Salesforce. And there are very smaller organizations whose annual turnover is just 10 lakhs. They are also using Salesforce, which means it has a feature where it can be used by either a very big organization or even by a smaller organization. It doesn't depends on which is big and which is small. I would say, uh, what is your requirement? Based on that, it will suggest you the licenses. So that is where you have industries, and it got partnered with almost all the bigger organizations like IBM, Wipro, or Infosys, Deloitte, especially I would say, Accenture, all this, and it has a lot of success communities as well. So overall, Salesforce can have a bird eye view on a customer, and that we call it as customer 360. Okay. Any questions in this? And it uses multiple platforms. It has mobile, it has security, and the privacy of data, or data security is Salesforce is very very high when you compare with any other technology. See, it started somewhere around 20 years back, close to somewhere around 1999, if I'm not wrong. Till date, you don't see any issue which says Salesforce breached the data, because rather than building the features, Salesforce will always stick to one concept, that is trust with the customers. So if the customer is not able to trust me, then I can't suggest some features, right? So it always keeps an eye on the security as well. And it also tells you that whenever you are building an application, let's use low code. That is where we have something called flows. We will discuss in future. Okay. And now, Ram, how the Salesforce works? Salesforce basically works on a multi-tenant architecture. It follows a multi-tenant architecture where, for example, if you are staying in an apartment, if you took a flat, which is your dedicated space. This is what Salesforce does also. It gives you a bigger server, in that it will ask you to take your space, and it will say you can use everything for lesser price, very, very lesser price when you compare with buying that space on your own, individually. So there, let's say if your apartment, you will use water, power, maybe a maintenance area, or maybe a park or a jogging track, or maybe a football ground. All this you can share with the people, right? So similarly here also we are sharing the platform with others. So that is why the cost is very less when you compare with the setting up your own infrastructure like this, right? And at the same time, if I'm staying in an apartment, I will have my own limits also, right? It's not like as I bought a flat and apartment, I can go and sleep in my neighbor's house. I should stay in the sim, right? So similarly, we have some limitations, and we call them as governor limits. We will discuss for every feature that we have in Salesforce. We have a governor limits, and when we are discussing about the features, I'll discuss about the limits also. Okay. Now it's pretty simple. Salesforce is built on cloud, right? And it is coming through software as a service or platform as a service. So I don't have to install anything in my system. Nah? The moment I get an idea, I'll buy a Salesforce license, and then I'll blindly build an application. And the best part is, by default, Salesforce supports all the end user gadgets. Let's say you want to use mobile, okay, I'll support you. You want to use desktop, that is fine. I'm giving you by default. You want to use tab, that also I'll fit to the system. Only thing is you have to tweak the system. You have to change the UIs. That's it, and that is configuration. Using configuration, I'm not speaking about the code. Okay. So this basically reduces the approach of your development. So earlier, you have to jump into a lot of things, like you have to set up your own infrastructure, operations, and all. But now all these things has gone, because you don't have to think about infrastructure operations and all. Everything will be taken care by Salesforce. Even your user licenses also, you don't have to take a hectic job, because I'm taking something for rent, right? I want to increase it, I will increase it. I want to reduce it, I will reduce it. I don't have to bother about how this process will work. Will the server creates an issue and all that is already taken by the Salesforce. So that is the best thing. And yep, he is the CEO. Forgot to hide the slide. So yep, Salesforce will come up with one point, as I said, trust. So it always believes in the customer, and it also makes sure that customer believes them. So that is where it has. So a very best example is, when I started my career in 2010, I've seen one feature from Salesforce. I think it got implemented somewhere around 2006 itself. That is there in your, even in your Gmail or Facebook, and these this social networking websites built very recently. That is, let's say, even if I know your credentials, I won't be able to log into your system, right? For past 5 years, I think. So they are saying that, okay, if you are trying to log into a new device, we'll send you a OTP to your registered mobile number, or to your what is it, to your registered email ID. Once you give that verification code, then only it is allowing you to log in, right? And this was implemented in Salesforce somewhere around 2007 or 6 itself. So logging into the system itself is difficult. Forget about hacking the data, because to extract the data from Salesforce to outside, you have to connect a code called security token, which is a combination of 18 characters, which will be sent every time whenever you want to extract the data from Salesforce. Okay, and that is impossible to hack. Okay, and how many people are there in this section? Around 20, maybe 19. Now, out of this 19, I would say I'll divide 50-50. Let's say 50% using Play Store, right, which is your Android, and 50% might be using iPhone, right, which is your Apple Store, to install any applications. So let us say I completed my graduation, and my friends recently. So my friend said, "Hey Ram, let's be connected." And I have done a lot of development in mobile in my final year. I built multiple applications. I even worked on an internship when in couple of bigger organizations. Okay, I'm just telling a story. Huh? I'm not that kind of person. So now my friend said, Ram, as you are a mobile developer, so why can't you build some application wherein which all of our friends, let's connect each other, just to say maybe goodbye, or good morning, good evening messages, or maybe if something important we want to discuss and all. Then what should I do? A simple answer that I will give is, why do I build an application? Yeah, we have WhatsApp, right? You have, if you are, I mean, because 99% of the people in the world now are using smartphones only, right? I mean, if you have a phone, more or less it's a smartphone. The price varies. It might be a 10,000 bucks phone, or it might be 1 lakh phone, but you are using a smartphone. So you can install WhatsApp. Let us create a group. WhatsApp allows you to create a group with 250 members. We are just 40-50 members, so we'll add all of them in that group, and let's stay connected. Simple answer. Right? But if I want to build the same application similar to WhatsApp, then I might need around a year, right? Or maybe 6 months, very worst case. Which means instead of wasting time, I'm going to something called Play Store or an App Store, installing that application which is already available, and start using it. Now, if WhatsApp says, by look, everyone who is using this application, you have to pay $1 a month. Are we gonna say no, no, no? I'm not gonna do this. Are we gonna uninstall? Definitely not. At least 60 to 70% of the people who are using WhatsApp now will continue, even if they are charging $1, right? Because it eases your system, right? Now, why Ram is giving this bullshit story? Because the keyword or the idea, that is App Store, building an application, sharing it across the people, because this idea came from Apple. Apple built the App Store, then we have Play Store and Google, right? But actually, the even the domain appstore.com domain was registered by this guy. And as Steve Jobs is his close friend, he has given this as a gift to Apple. Okay, you can pause the session. You can just go and check the story behind the App Store and Mark Benioff. You just type App Store plus Mark Benioff, you'll see the story. Okay, and he came up with something called a new word called App Exchange, because we are exchanging the applications. So here, what is it? I have seen a use case in the market. I'll build an application. For example, a very simple example is Conga Composer. So there is a team called Conga team. So where they have seen people are struggling a lot in building PDFs, looking at the records, because end of the day, whether you are launching a rocket or whatever, end of the day you have to capture it as a record in your system, right? It will be a row, right? So they want to convert this. They thought like, I mean, there are some requirements in your application where you have to convert this record into a PDF format and all. So when people are struggling, these guys thought like, okay, let us build something where we can generate some PDF automatically when I connect this feature to the record. And they were successful. And they thought like, okay, I'm using this application, but maybe other organizations also might be using the same application. So they thought like, okay, like, can we deploy it somewhere where other people also can use it? That is where Salesforce has connected. They have connected with Salesforce, and they asked like, is there any place where I can build, drop this, sell this application in the market? They said yes. You have something called App Exchange. You give me your application to us, we will review it with all the securities, because we are sharing with our customers who are already paid for us. Now if I'm giving an application which will breach their security, it will be a problem. So this team, App Exchange team, will review your application. Everything is correct, then they'll deploy it in the App Exchange, which is a marketplace of Salesforce. So that maybe an organization called ABC wants to use a similar feature, they'll search for PDF and they'll see Conga Composer, they'll open it. If they like the product, they will take it. And then it depends, you want to give it for free, you want to do a social service, you do a social service, or you want to sell it off. For some price you can sell it off, you can give it as a maintenance. It's up to you. Likewise, actually this slide is very older, huh? But as the slide looks good, I have kept it. So I have kept this slide around 2019. By then itself we have 5 million installs, and if I'm not wrong, this will definitely grown to 2 more million, because from past 2 years there is huge difference in Salesforce. And it says 4K applications, but that is also wrong. Actually we have around 5400 applications in App Exchange. Okay, and these are different applications which are already available in Salesforce. Depending on the requirement, you can use it. Now let us say if I want to install WhatsApp, I should have a smartphone in my hand first, right? Either it might be an Apple phone or it might be an Android phone, and I should have an Apple ID or an Android ID. Similarly, if you want to install, for example, same Conga Composer, first of all you should have a Salesforce license, and then you go to App Exchange and you install it. Okay, yeah, we will
And
see if there is any application that we can install in our system as well in the sessions. Sorry, someone,
Ram,
sorry to cut you off. Yep.
and these app exchanges apps not necessary as in CRM applications, right? It can be anything.
Yeah, it can be anything. See, I have seen some use case. See, Conga Composer, for example, the one that I discussed, it's not needed for CRM, right? And of course, sorry, I missed it. Salesforce is a CRM based application which has customer relationship management. It's not just an application, it helps you to guide the business how to connect with the customers. So there are a lot of automation rules to automate your business process in Salesforce. Okay. So likewise, we have multiple applications. Let's say there are some application which says I can approve the request. Let's say I need to approve some requests raised by my juniors or something. So if my team is very small, then maybe I might get some 2 3 requests every day. I will approve it. But let us say I have a team. Let's say if you consider my manager, where I'm reporting. He has around 250 members under him. So let us say if something comes up every day, he might get an approvals of maybe 40, 50. And let's say if he took a leave of week, then this 40 into 1 week, you count the number of requests that he'll get. So now he'll say that, Ram, what is this here? I got 200 requests for approval. I can't read everything. So you just give me a high level, I'll approve all of them. Not just me, my his other report. Then we will look into that and we'll say, okay, this set you can blindly approve that. So you have to choose this 40, 50 records in one shot, and he has to approve them on a single shot, right? For that we have some applications, app exchange products, where he can choose any number and you can directly approve all requests as well. Likewise, we have multiple products. It depends on our requirement. It might be, for example, Viva is a CRM product, and financial flows is not a CRM product. It's something related to financial sector. And even map anything is not a CRM product. It will basically helps you to guide, when you provide the latitude and longitude location, it will show you the uh, Google map over there, kind of, right? So it may or may not be a CRM application. It's like, I have seen a use case in the market, I will build over here. Simple. Okay. And this is the Salesforce economy. This you don't need. Yeah, it started around 1999. And yeah, this is very old slide, but as the pictures are looking good, I kept it. But the numbers that I'm showing you here are much far than the numbers that Salesforce is having now. Okay. And these are the multiple companies that Salesforce acquired. And I like this slide. Of course, this is also a little older, but I really like this slide. Why do I like it? Because, or how does it relate to our session, first of all? So again, let's say if I take at least 30%, or not 30%, I would say 70% of you will be definitely an experienced by people, and you want to switch your careers to Salesforce, right? Why you are switching? Because the technologies that you are working now are not doing that great in the market, to be honest. Right? I'm not saying Salesforce is good. When if Salesforce falls down, even I have to look for some other technology. So that is a different case. So you are trying to switch, which means that everything has a saturation point, right? But if you see the growth of Salesforce from 2011 till now, which is Salesforce is somewhere around $19 billion company as of now, because it just uh, so they are targeting to go with $35 billion company. Very worst case, they'll reach $30 billion company, which means the technology that I'm working is growing, which also means that it will increase the number of opportunities in the market, because this was released by Salesforce last year. I think they said like by 2022 they are gonna generate 3.3 million jobs across the world, directly or indirectly. Directly in the sense, if I hire a person into my company, that is direct resource. Let us say if I give this product to some other organization, and if that organization is hiring a person, then it is indirect generation. So now they are saying that 2024 they are going to generate 5.5 million jobs across the world, which means there are huge number of opportunities that are going to be generated. Okay. So that is one reason I love this slide, because this shows me that, okay, this gives me a confidence that, okay, I can survive in the technology at least for 5 more years. That is a very good number when you see into current market. Okay. But I would definitely say up to a decade there won't be any other problem with Salesforce. Okay. Why? Because Salesforce is not just growing vertically, okay? It is occupying horizontal markets as well. It is into multiple industries. Salesforce bought a company called Velocity recently, which is completely based on industrial based solutions, where it has given a very big change in the system. Okay. Then course content. I don't want to open that course content. You will be definitely getting it from the career IT people, but I would explain you in one way, that is io. So I believe in pictures. If you see pictures, you'll remember very easily. That's what I believe. Uh, yeah. So every technology, for example, if I consider a technology as this box, everything they'll say that you have two people. One is administrator, and the other one is a developer. Okay. So if I ask, okay, what is an admin? You'll come up with admin is a person who will you look into the security. He is the person who will look after the server maintenance, etc., etc. Right? But when it comes to Salesforce, what is an admin do? Admin is not the person who will look into this networking cables and all, because that is already taken by Salesforce, right? What are you going to do on there? Admin, I would say, admin is the person who can build the application. Admin is the person who, of course, who can take the security, who can see what will be defined. Admin is the person who can build automation rules. Admin is the person who can generate reports. I'm saying he can, okay? I'm not saying he is the only one. He can generate dashboards. He can validate the data. All these things can be done by admin using point and clicks. What is point and click? See, to define the sheet, did I wrote any code? No, right? I simply went to some website called draw.io, given some name, drawing and dragging and dropping it out, right? So this is called as point and click. Using the same configuration steps, we can build an application as a admin. Clear? Then RAM security is taken care by Salesforce. I mean the high level security, right? Server is taken care by Salesforce. Application built up, because whenever I see an application, I will see three areas. One is capturing the data, second one or the requirements, second one generate building the application. Admin can do that. Capturing the data, that will be taken care by the business analyst. Business will give the requirements, admin will build that data. Security will be taken care, and you are saying that he can write automations, reports, validations. That's it. What else is there? As these are doing by admin, these are with some standard UIs. Okay, this can be done using some standard user interfaces. Okay, I'll just show you. Sorry, I have logged into a new org. That's okay. So so this is how I can simply build an application. But if you see here, this looks very standard. Now the customer says, Ram, I want to control this zip code with the date of birth. I mean, it won't happen, but generally, I'm saying if the customer says that I want to see this zip code only when the date of birth is in future, worst case, right? Or which means I want to see this interested zip code field when someone has filled the date of birth. That cannot be done by an admin. This dynamic automations cannot be done by admin. That is where the developers comes into picture. Developers can build complex logics. They can build complex automations. For example, bank wants to give maybe 4.4% of interest every year to all their customers. This cannot be done by an admin. I have to write some automation rule at the backend which will be taking care of the process. Or if the validations are little complicated, or the user needs a custom user interface, or if I want to integrate with an external system, all these things can be done only by developer. When he'll do this, whenever I'm able to understand this is complex logic, then I can come into development, which means I should be able to understand whether I can do this in the admin or not, then only I'll come here, right? Which means as a developer I should know each and every pros and cons in the admin, which means to become a developer I should be a admin first. Okay, so we have to complete the admin and then we'll go with the development. So we have too many features in development. I'm just building very simple things. One is user interface, and the other one is building logic, and the other one data, that is the database that comes from that. So we'll discuss each and every feature that you need for both admin and development. For example, if you are going with admin, we'll go with ADM 201 certification. You will be cleared for sure. I can give you a guarantee post the session. If you are going with development, then you have to do a certification called PD1. That also will be cleared for sure post the course, maybe after a week of completion of course. Now, coming to the next question is, okay, Ram, images are good, somehow you managed it, but by I'm a layman person who don't know anything about development. Or first tell me what are the prerequisites for this, yeah, then we'll discuss about admin, whether I want to pitch into admin or development. So admin, I said it is just point and clicks, so you don't need to come up with any prerequisites. No prerequisites for admin. Okay, if you know in I would simply say, if you know what is an Excel sheet, then I'll be, for me it's a very happy thing to tell you what is the admin is, because Salesforce is fully loaded automations in Excel. That is what one of the drawbacks of your Excel sheet, right? Because if someone asks me, Ram, what is the best tool that you have used in your 11 years career or 12 years career, I'll say Excel sheet. Because Excel तो कुछ भी कर सकता है, like you can do anything in Excel, right? But there are some limitations on Excel where it cannot validate the data, or it cannot provide the security, right? It cannot do complex logic calculations, it cannot send emails. All these things can be done by Salesforce. So if Microsoft thinks that okay, let's do all these automations, maybe after a decade they'll come up with a source called Salesforce itself. Okay, so if you are good with a very basic knowledge like what how to create Excel sheet, how to create tables in an Excel sheet, that is more than enough. Anyways, I'll explain you that also. Okay, I mean, you don't need more than 2 3 minutes of session of that for that, so we will do it. Then come into development. I'm speaking about complex logics, complex user interfaces, so this needs some prerequisites. Like you should be aware what is object oriented programming concepts. You should be aware of JavaScript basics. Okay, I'm speaking only about basics because I won't be using object oriented programming here. I'll be using Apex, which is driven from object oriented programming itself. But trust me, Apex is very much easier than object oriented programming. If you are a Java developer, for you it will be definitely a cakewalk. Okay, if not, you should understand what is a class, what is an object, how do I define a method, how to invoke one method to another method, what is an interface, very basic things. Okay, of course, I'll tell you in the introduction of development what to see. And if you are good with other languages like HTML, CSS, and all, that is much more added advantage. If not, that is also fine. It's like the more you practice, you learn easily. Okay, this is all we are going to learn in the sessions. That's all from my end. Any questions, anyone? And sorry, one more. Now, Ram, this is also fine. One more thing is, how are you going to teach me? That is a big question, right? So will you keep telling the stories every day? Will you just give us a concept every day, or you will give us some assignments to do some practice? So what I'll do in general, I believe in practice. Okay, I'm not a person who I'm a backbencher all the time. Unless until you practice, you won't learn anything. That is what I have learned. I used to break the system to learn something most of the times. So what I do is, generally, if you go with any technology, any sessions or any trainings, what will happen is you will get the concepts. Maybe for 30 days or 40 days, people will explain you all the concepts. At the end, they'll give you a documentation for maybe 20 pages or 30 pages of document. They'll say that, okay, day one, they'll start speaking about the project, and they'll say that, if you remember, day one, I have spoken about some security concept. Now you apply it in point number 3, and on day 15 I have written some automation logic, right? You apply it in point number 15. But I'm not gonna do that. Right from day one, we will discuss about an application. So the way it will go is, for example, if someone asks me to build an application, let us say, apart from the 10 applications, if my manager asks me, hey Ram, you have to take another application, what we will do in my organization is, I will set up a workshop with my business. Because before I jump into the system, start building the application, first of all, I need to know what is their requirement, what is the existing process they are following, what is the existing technology they are following. For that, I will set up a simple workshop with them, maybe for a week or so. I'll understand their requirement, because even I can't sit for a day, right? So maybe 30 minutes or 15 minutes call every day. So I'll take it for a week. I'll gather the requirements. Then based on that, I will design a high level, and then I'll give it to my developers. Then they'll start doing the low level designs. This is what we are going to do here also. But as we don't have too much of time, so in the first session, we'll take some real time application with the market. It can be anything. Maybe about the career IT itself, or you can do take it for a real estate working sector, or can take maybe on a banking sector, or maybe an internal application in the organization. Anything. We'll take some random application. We'll discuss about that. We will build that application on a simple Excel sheet, because we need to build a schema first. Excel is one good tool where you can build the schemas, and using that schema, we'll see how to convert that or how to build that application in Salesforce with each and every concept. So to build the application, first we need to see how to go and create an application. And then application needs, basically an application is nothing but a collection of data with a well defined process, right? To get the data, I need tables. To capture the data, I need tables. So in the application, first I'll build an application. Then inside the application, we'll keep building the tables. Every table will have multiple columns. There are some different technical names for all this. We'll discuss about it. So once the schema is done, then we'll see how do we automate the transactions between one table to another table, and how do we do the automations, and how do we validate the data. So slowly, I will be covering all the concepts that is there in your application, I mean, in the course, and at the same time, right on the day where you have seen that feature, you are applying this on the application that you are working parallelly, which means by the end of our course, you will be having a well defined application in your own Salesforce orgs, which means you will be getting a free versions, which you can use it for lifetime. So it's not something that I'm giving, Salesforce is giving it. So you can you can build a free Salesforce, you can create a free Salesforce org as well, and that is with limited features. So that is more and more than enough for the practice. So
Ramgar, sorry to interrupt you. Hello.
sorry. Yep.
Yeah, Ram, sorry to interrupt you. Hello everyone, this is Lakshmi from Career ID. Important info from Career ID. The regular sessions for this batch will be starting from Monday IST, which falls on 4th October. So the timings would be from 7 to 8 a.m. IST. For more details, you can reach us and the number whatever I have provided in chart, and I'll be sharing the demo recording along with batch starts details through mail and even in WhatsApp also by today end of the day. So thank you. You please carry on.
Hey, I'm really sorry for this. To have that break. Yeah, so this is what I want to I'm gonna you are going to do this in the course. Post the course, you will be having an application in your hand, and every feature, again, I'm not gonna spend uh, again a separate session on interview questions or certification questions separately at the end of the session. Rather, every day I'll randomly keep asking you the questions, which, and whenever I'm discussing about the feature, I will tell you like what kind of questions you'll get in that, maybe on the certifications or on the interviews as well, so that you will be learning all the things when you are learning that particular feature itself. Okay, that is why I'm saying that within a day or two post completing your admin course, you can go with the admin certification, and within a week, because development needs some practice, so I said like within a week you can go for PD1 certification. Okay, so that's all from my end. Any questions, anyone?
Sure, Ram, Shiva here. So, uh, if we are like any person, like an experienced person, like more than a like 12 or 14 years experience, so what do you say? Like, will you recommend the Salesforce to that person?
Definitely yes. And when you said like you have a good experience, so what was the technology that you're working on? I know.
Data warehousing.
Right, so that's completely fine. See, end of the day, you will go with some experience only, right? That's the open secret in the market. That you'll say that okay, at least you are going to keep somewhere around 2 3 years of experience, and they'll say, and then you'll say this, right?
Right.
Because so it will work out for sure. Only thing is how you're learning. That's what matters.
Yeah, got you. So, so why I ask this question? I understand, like everybody, moral, like everybody has some sort of experience, but if you are in warehousing, like changing from Informatica to some other like Ab initio, or there are a lot many tools like Cognos, or so you can choose any ETL tools which are Hadoop, no matter. So, but this is a complete transformation, right? So it's like
Yes,
competency
of course.
change. So that's
Correct.
the reason I posed this question.
So Salesforce has multiple areas. I would, with your experience, if you say that, hey, I'm a developer, to be honest, I'll make it very honest, okay? Because I'm a member of a technical panel in my organization as well. Every day, at least, I will interview around 5 to 6 people, apart from my regular things. So if someone like you comes to me and says that, hey Ram, I'm having an experience in data warehouse from past 8 years, and from past 3 years I'm working in Salesforce. Can you consider me as a developer? No, I will consider you as a Salesforce data architect, right? So you should, maybe initially it might be little tough, but you should concentrate on that area. Like there are, okay, I think I might have missed it. I'm really sorry for that. So there are multiple roles in system, where you can go for the developers, you can go for an admin, you can go for a consultant. Like for example, now if Prakash says that, Ram, everything is good, but actually I'm coming from a sales area. I'm a manager in a sales department in one XYZ organization. I've been working over there from past 10 years. Now, how do you, what do you say if I want to learn Salesforce? How do you fit me in your organization? I'll fit Prakash as a sales consultant. Like we have a lot of things, a lot of roles in the system in Salesforce, where you can be a consultant as well, where he should know the features of Salesforce, and he should be knowing the features of the area of sales as well. That is where he'll become a sales consultant. Now Praveen says, Ram, I'm a hardcore developer, yeah. Like from past 10 years or 15 years, I worked on multiple development languages. Then you can directly go for a technical architect level, because you know how systems will speak with each other, right? And now Jagdish comes and says that, Ram, I don't know either of them. I'm a fresher. You try with a developer. Someone says that, Ram, I don't know either of them. I'm a fresher. You try with a consultant. You try with a Someone says that, Ram, I don't know either of them. I'm a fresher. You try with a developer. Ram, I know how these features works, but I'm not that much great into the every technology. Then I would say we can go for a solution architect level. So that is how you have to pick, because it's not like when you are switching it, switching the technology. It's not like you can completely switch, but see where your existing experience fits into the new one. That is where you have to target. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So maybe so as the course goes, like maybe we'll understand like where we'll be fitting in.
Yeah.
Mm. And one more thing, actually, I'm a big person in the Salesforce. So I heard a lot of buzzwords here, like from the friends and the colleagues, WC, Apex, Lightning, Classic, and so and everybody saying that Lightning is the something. If you want to go to the
Yes.
Salesforce, we should be focusing
Okay.
on the
By the
Lightning.
way, this is the lightning screen, and classic is an age-old feature. Okay, I'm switching to classic. This is how classic looks. Okay, there are very minimal automation rules here, but Salesforce came up with Lightning in 2014, so it's way far. So we are, and no one is using classic, but I'm gonna discuss about classic features and Lightning features as well. Okay, but we'll mainly concentrate on Lightning screens only. Okay, because from past 2000, if you see that from past 2014, if everyone is using Lightning, then which means that more or less 90% of the market is using lightning itself. So we'll highly concentrate on lightning, and whenever required, there are some features which is not available in lightning, so that is where, especially on security areas and all, so that is where I'll show you classic as well. But I will cover all the concepts. Okay,
Okay, okay.
any questions, anyone else?
Mm,
Yeah, hi Ram, Prakash here.
Hey Prakash,
Yeah,
tell
hi,
me.
hi. So I have a question for you, Ram. So like me, I'm into testing for past 7 to 8 years, and so I just wanted to know, like, if I want to continue my career in testing, so is there any scope in Salesforce where we have
Yeah. Okay, very good question. I don't know how do I forgot this. I'm really sorry again. So, couple of
yeah,
things. I think as I got that sudden announcement, the flow got broken. Actually, I'm really sorry for that.
no, it's fine,
Uh,
it's fine. Because now
so, in
I'm
my
working for the
applications,
yeah. Sorry,
okay.
sorry.
So I'll
Right?
tell you a use case. Okay, then you can answer. I mean, you can figure out from that use case itself. You can figure out. So, when we are building applications, one or the other time we have to test it, right? So once the application, it's not like I build the application today, I'll deploy it to the production and people will start using it. I need someone to say that, okay Ram, your application is good, that is where we need testers, right? So we hired a couple of testers when we start the projects, and testing team, as there is a scarcity, I'm telling you again, there is a scarcity of Salesforce testers. They have given us the people who are very good testers in automations, but in Salesforce we don't know any automation testings and all. When we do, we can write scripts and all, so again that is completely related to the testing area, but we don't have to. Now the problem is they are not aware of Salesforce UIs. They are not aware of the table structures of Salesforce. They are not aware of all these some internal features. So then we used to spend around close to a month or so to train them properly in Salesforce, because if you don't know, I mean from the testing point of view, because most of my friends are testers, okay? So it's like if I ask them to look into some new screen, they'll seem, if you don't know that, you'll say that is a bug, correct? To make it simple, I mean, let's say if I'm a fresher, okay, if I don't know anything, I'll say it's a simple bug. So every time they used to raise a bug, and we used to go there and say that, hey, this is not a bug here, this is a feature of Salesforce. which means as they are not aware of Salesforce, we have to explain them every time. And then we came out with a plan. Instead of wasting this time, let us pick all these 3 or 4 members, let's train them in Salesforce for a month, and then let's onboard them. This is what we are doing now. Think about a Prakash who is a tester in some automation, or maybe a .NET or something. If he learned Salesforce and he comes to me saying that Ram, I'm a Salesforce tester, will I be happy to take you in? Because you are saving 1 month of my project's time, right? At least 15 days of my project's time. Got the answer? But for that,
Yeah, yeah,
you should be
understand.
aware of Salesforce admin concepts. And if you are aware of high level development, then it's good enough,
Okay,
at
so
least.
so so yeah, um, so from what I understand from you is like, as a tester, so I need to know like the functionality and the
Obviously, right? Unless until you know the
yeah, that,
functionality or the features of Salesforce,
and how
how
it
you'll
works. Yeah,
test it?
yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. So what I'm asking, like, so development is an extra add-on, right? So if I knew the
Yeah, it is
admins or
always an
something,
add-on, right?
yeah, okay.
Correct.
So development just an add-on. If I learn, I can also develop like what you said, all those stuff I can do. But if I learn admin, I can do both testing and admin as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Hello.
I think
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Ram. Good morning.
Hi, Uday.
I
Good morning.
have one question. Actually, I'm into sales since 11 to 12 years. So
Okay.
I'm for branding and promotions like space selling. So
Okay.
I'm not much into technical part. So the words that you're using right now, I'm totally finding it's new for me. So do you suggest me to go ahead with this? Or can you please advise me?
Uh, yeah. So I won't convince you. I mean, there are two ways to answer this. I can convince you to be in sales, but or I can give you a real fact how it works in market. So again, I think we came. I had a discussion about this in the couple of examples when Shiva was asking me. So if you are a salesperson who is aware of the process in sales, then again you can be a consultant. There is a consultant role in Salesforce, which is we call it as sales consultant or service consultant, and you can do a certifications in that. But prerequisite is admin and development. So once you're done with this, prerequisite for sales consultant exam is admin 201. So once you're done with admin 201, then you can apply for a sales consultant certification, and then you can build that. I mean, once you get that, you can be on the sales side as well.
Acha. To become a sales, so I think we should know all the technical parts. So you are,
Yes.
mentioned that Java, some OOPS.
No, no.
So
So
technically,
for sales consultant, again, admin is mandatory. Java, if you
acha.
want to become a developer, yes, of course, you can. Uh, but okay, I'll give you this way. So I'm an electronics student where I think I just got a pass mark in Java, to be honest. So I thought like I'll be going into my own technology, but it didn't work out. So situations asked me to work in an organization where I got trained in Java for 2 weeks forcefully. Then I said, okay, I want to be a tester because tester. I used to have an expectation that tester don't have to learn anything. They said, okay, we have something called Salesforce. For me, it looked like a Facebook only. So I started using it. Then I thought, okay, let me do something else in this. So started learning admin. Became an admin in a month or two. Okay, because I have my seniors to train me. Was that there was a vacant position for development. So I started doing the development as well. It took around 2 months for me to become a developer as well without training. Okay, at least development, I no one trained me. Okay. which means the moment what I personally felt is the moment you jump into Salesforce, you will, like, if you have a real curiosity, you'll feel that okay, if you want to always extend your knowledge and all, so you will definitely jump into the development, I would say. Okay, even if you don't know the software languages like Java and all, because even today also I'm not completely aware of Java, but I would say I'm a hardcore developer because I know Apex, which is Salesforce development language. Okay,
Okay.
but there are
Okay.
ways where you can become a service cloud consultant or a sales cloud consultant, you know.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Hope I didn't convince you. I answered your question. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm,
Thank you.
Hi Ram, this is Satish.
Hey Satish.
Actually, I'm into non-IT background. So, what would you suggest me to learn? Whether it would be admin or deployment, because I don't know the technical substance.
Okay, so I would say you are not supposed to learn admin or development. Okay,
Okay.
you are supposed to learn either admin or admin and development.
Mhm.
Okay, because for
Okay.
admin, as I said, you don't have to learn anything. I mean, no need of any prerequisites. I think every one of us is well aware of how Excel sheet works, right? That is more and more
Mhm.
than enough. And if you know how this marketing works, like for example, let's say if I do a transaction in the system, in my bank
Mhm.
account, then I'll be getting an immediate email, right, saying that Ram, you have transferred $100 to Satish, or let us say
Mhm.
Satish has given me $100. I'll be getting a immediate notification. If we know that kind of use cases, that is more and more than enough, because we are going to build a similar use cases in Salesforce. So till now you have used different technologies as an end user, but when you are learning Salesforce, we'll see what is the logic that is running behind the scenes
Mhm.
without writing a single line of code. That is what is your admin. And to do some complex logics and all, we'll go with the development. Okay. So I
Okay.
would say, I mean, whether you so see, simple, to make it simple, I'm not, I won't say that okay, you join this session itself, but I would suggest you learn Salesforce, at least the admin area. If you are comfortable, then see if you can learn development as well, and then go with, because at least, as I said, at least for a decade, or at least for very worst case for 5 years, you won't see any other bigger technology in CRM especially other than Salesforce. That I can guarantee you. Okay, because
Uh,
I'm there in the industry from many years, and the way it is going, the way they are getting the exposure, the way they are implementing the new features, no other technology does. And
mhm.
the numbers, of course, numbers matters, right? We have seen multiple numbers as well. They are real numbers. I'm not giving some simple stories at the back end.
All right. All right. Thanks, Ram.
Thank you.
Yeah.
uh,
Hello, Ram. This
Ram,
is Surya. Hello, Ram.
Hey, hi Surya. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
Surya.
so I have 8 years of non-IT experience. Actually, I am not into IT background. So, as you mentioned, I mean, we would start with an admin, and then, if it is possible, then we can take a development course, and we can try in this field. But how difficult it would be to switch, Ram, from a non-IT field to this background?
See, it's not that difficult. At least you can try for an admin for sure.
Okay.
Development, I would say it depends on the amount of time you are spending. See, I'll
Yes.
simply say, I said, like, okay, post the admin session, you can directly go for the certification, right? So in the
Yeah.
certification, they'll ask around 65 questions, out of which you have to answer a minimum of 43 right answers.
Yes.
So for admin, I would say if you are ready to spend 15 minutes, just 10 to 15 minutes post my session for practice, that
Okay.
is more and more than enough to clear your certification.
Okay.
Okay, but because I don't expect you to come up with some languages in admin. right? If you are
Okay.
able to understand my sessions and able to spend 10 to 15 minutes post the session to complete the assignment that I'm giving, that is more and more than enough to crack the admin certification. But when it
So
comes to development, you have to come up with some prerequisites like Java or maybe JavaScript. So if you are not aware of those languages, you have to spend little more time. If you are already aware of them, then you can spend little lesser time. So it is up to you in that case, Surya.
So, I mean, because what I was listening was we generally have very less jobs for admin only. So maybe admin plus development
Yes,
they require in
but
general.
we have a very good opportunities for Salesforce business analysts.
Okay.
Okay, especially for non-IT people, I'm saying, like if you don't know any technologies. So the role called Salesforce business analyst. If you are into BA position, if you want to be a business analyst kind of, especially for this goes even for the other lady. I think Mudaya. She asked me like, okay, I'm from sales background. Will I be? So, which means that she is well aware of how the sales process works, right?
Yeah.
Now, every organization is looking for testers, but Salesforce testers. Every organization is looking for a business analyst who is aware of my product, but at the same time, if they are aware of Salesforce, then I'm giving them more opportunities. Salesforce business analyst is a person who is aware of each and everything in admin, and he is aware of how the development features works. For example, let us say if I want to give 5% interest to all my customers on generally in India, you will get it on 1st of April, right, where you will become full. So I have let's say if SBI, which is one of the biggest bank who is having huge customers, they have decided it. So they have to run some job at the back end, right? If you know what is that job name, how that job will process, that is enough. You don't have to write a logic for that. Like, of course, that is the job which is written by the developers. So that's an activity which will be done by the developers. But you should know how this job runs, right? So which means
Yeah.
when if I say, hey Surya, I'm running a bank, I have 1 lakh customers, I want to give this, I want to all, give maybe 3% or 4% interest to all my customers. What I have to do? Then you should be able to tell me that, okay, Ram, there is a feature called Batch Apex where it will help you to process any number of records, and you can schedule it at a point of time whenever you want. If you tell me that
Okay.
answer, then I'll be happy. But if you are saying that, okay, Ram, I'll just go to my development team, check with them whether it is possible or not, then I'll come back to you. First time I'll say, okay, Surya, you go back. Second time I might say yes. Third time I'll say, okay, why should I have a barrier between a developer and Surya? Because he is just going there and giving the same postman job, right? I can
yeah.
directly interact with my business. Why do I have a Surya? That is where in that area business is thinking now. So a business analyst should be in a position where you can convert the requirements into a real-time solutions as well. And from there, you can become a solution architect as well. Okay, because you
Okay.
are giving me a solution for smaller cases. With your experience grows, you will become a solution architect.
Okay.
So simple. End of the day, if you are an admin, you can look for a consultant role or a tester role or a solution architect role. Not immediately, okay? Like that comes with an experience. But if you are a developer, you can straightforward look for a technical architect role. And if you are from a database background, you can look for a Salesforce data architect role. Again, not immediately. It goes with the time, right?
Yeah.
Any
Ram,
questions,
Hi.
anyone?
yeah, yeah, go ahead. Hello.
Sorry, Narmada, you're saying something. Narmada,
So
just a
how
second.
about the I
Hello.
think again Surya here, Ram. So how about the work-life balance of Salesforce technologies? I
That
mean,
depends on the company.
okay.
Okay, Ram, I'll quickly close my two
Sir,
two questions.
Shiva, can you allow Narmada, because she's trying to
Yeah,
speak from past 5 minutes. I'm really sorry to cut you off. Narmada, you can go ahead. Hello.
Narmada.
Yeah, Narmada, you can go off. Uh, okay, you're not audible. Okay, she lost. Okay, Shiva, you can continue.
sure, sure. So, so maybe it's not relevant for the everyone. So as I said so in the beginning, so we are little experience actually, Ram. So that's the thing. What is making nervous is like if you stick to this. So I so this Salesforce will be last for a decade. That is what I heard, right? So because this is a technology change, and being an experienced person changing into a like these any new competencies, like I was a little curious, not curious, like cautious. So what is your
Okay. Uh, okay. So most of my friends have the same questions. So I would answer in another way. Uh, One of my friend who is working in networking in entity. So when we started our career, more or less, he used to get a good pay than me, but now it's completely different. Okay. Now he said like, Ram, I'm facing this financial problems here. Like I want to switch my technology, but now more or less we started the career at the same place, same time, maybe a half year. He started ahead of me. What I suggested him to learn Salesforce and see if there is a position vacant in your organization itself, because to switch within the organization it's very easy. Sit there for maybe a 6 months or so, you will get a real time experience, and from there you can switch. That is what the suggestion I would give to a person who want to switch the technology. Okay, that is the easiest one I would say. If not, you have to say that okay, I have some 5 years of experience, and then you should be ready enough to crack the interviews for that 5 years of experience, like which means you have to struggle a bit more when you compare with other people. Okay, there, these are the two ways that you have. Did I answer your question, Shiva?
yeah, Ram.
Narmada, can you ask your question
సార్
now?
నేను టూ ఎస్ సార్ సిగ్నల్స్ ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఇక్కడ సార్ సార్ నేను
Yes.
2014 పాస్డ్ అవుట్ సార్ కంప్యూటర్ సైన్స్ సార్
Okay.
హలో
Yeah, yeah, we
బట్
can hear you.
ఆఫ్టర్ మ్యారీడ్ మ్యారేజ్ తర్వాత నేను ఏమి మ్యారేజ్ సార్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టూ
Okay.
కిడ్స్ నేను ఇప్పుడు జాబ్ చేద్దామని చెప్పేసి కోర్స్ నేర్చుకుందామని అనుకుంటున్నాను సార్ నాకు సేల్స్ ఫోర్స్
Where are
యూజ్
you
అవుతుందా
from?
యాజ్ ఏ ఫ్రెషర్గా ఐఎమ్
Okay, that is
ఫ్రమ్
fine.
సత్తెనపల్లి సార్
No, no, which means are you staying in okay. Okay, you are from India only, right? Now you are in India and you want to look for a job in India
ఎస్
itself.
సార్ ఎస్ సార్
Okay. uh, so you can do that, but see, you are 2004 passed out, 14 passed out, right? So you will get an opportunity as well if you are completing Salesforce course. But the problem is, these days, instead of, so if you
ఎస్
are, I mean, I'm not supposed to suggest this, but if you
యాజ్ ఏ
say
ఫ్రెషర్గా
that you have
అంటే
at
సేల్స్
least,
ఫోర్స్ ఒక్కటే నేర్చుకుంటే ఫ్రెషర్ ఐ హ్యావ్ ఏ జాబ్
yes, instead of trying as a fresher, so what I would suggest is,
డూ అండర్స్టాండ్ మై హలో
no, I completely understand. See, these days, okay, I'll give you a very
చెప్పండి
straightforward
సార్
answer. These days, we not we, most of the companies are hiring people who just says that okay, I know Salesforce. This is how the market is now. Okay, so if you learn Salesforce, complete the certifications, there are a couple of organizations but smaller organizations where they'll take you as a fresher as well, they'll pay you around 2.53 lakhs. But if you want to, it's all about pay, right? Like if you want to move, go with more, then you have to go with at least 2 or 3 years of experience, where even if you are going with 2 years or 3 years of experience, I won't expect anything from you, because I know how, when not just me, any organization will know what I can extract from what kind of knowledge a 2 years person will have. I would say till 3 years you're a fresher itself. Okay, so what I suggest you is Power BI reporting. Yeah. So what I suggest you is either you can learn as a fresher, and there are opportunities for freshers as well. If not, you can, like if you know some people who can give you an experience of a year or two, you can. I suggest you go in that way, because if you spend around 3 4 months on Salesforce, you are well versed, because you will be learning each and every concept and you'll be practicing, right? You'll be able to crack the interview and you will be able to manage your work also. Okay, so it's up to you. And for Power BI, someone asked about Power BI. So we have in Salesforce, we do have something called Einstein Analytics. But again, Power BI is far better than Einstein Analytics, I would say. Because even if I'm a Salesforce person, I'm not saying that Salesforce is the only solution that you have in the market. We do have multiple things. So if you, Power BI is mainly for reports, right? So Salesforce, I would say Power BI is more far better than Salesforce. There are some limitations, but yeah, it is good because Power BI will work only on the reports, but Salesforce you can do many other things as well. Okay, thank you. Yeah, as
And
I mentioned, Salesforce is good technology, but this is not the only technology, I would say. Okay. Yeah,
Hi Ram.
sorry. Yeah, may know
Hi
who's
Ram.
this. Hi, hi.
Venkatesh. This is Venkatesh.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Venkatesh, go on.
Hi Ram. I have 3 years of experience in manual testing. Can I go for admin or developer position? I don't have experience in automation.
Okay. So, okay, for you people, okay. For all people who wants to, who is a be a, or, I mean, who is a non-technical people, I'll give you another suggestion. So, you learn admin, either in this with this consultancy or any other consultancy. That doesn't matter, and sit in the development sessions maybe for a day or two. You'll understand the flow. At least my sessions, within first 2 sessions itself, you'll get a very good clarity. Okay, whether you want to continue or not, then you can take the call for development. Does that sounds good?
Yeah. Thank you, Ram.
Yes, sir, it's good.
Ram,
Because
how
I
long
won't
is
go
it?
with a very complicated. So the sessions that I give is more or less like this presentation itself. So you will have a simple picture, and I'll come up with a small storyline, and then I'll start building the application. This is how I go. I will. This is how you are going to build the application as well.
How long the
So
course duration, Ram?
yes, I was expecting this question. I purposefully kept it aside. Thought of checking who will ask this question. So we'll have around 40 to 45 sessions. I'm. It might go more beyond that, or it might complete. I mean, go lesser than that. But it depends. So every day we'll have 1 hour session. Uh, Initially 5 days a week. Going forward, if people are
I think
interested,
the
we'll go with
network
6 days a week.
network was
Sorry.
hello.
Yeah.
I think that there is a network problem from from your side, I believe. I missed what you said.
Okay, I think okay, it got switched. It seems so. It is somewhere around 40 to 45 sessions for both admin and development. Admin will take around
Mhm.
15 to 20, and the other one is for development. And it sometimes it might go beyond that, or sometimes it might be lesser than that. It depends,
Mhm.
like how fast we are going. And the other one is about the timings you can speak with the consultancy. More or less we'll go with 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. ist. And the last one is number of sessions in a week. Usually been initially we'll go with 5 days a week, and if everyone is interested to learn or complete the things a little faster, we'll go with 6 days a week. See, if you want to complete the things a little faster, I'm saying that I'm not going to give you a crash course. I will increase the sessions. That's it. I mean, in a
Okay.
week, but I'm not going to reduce the number of sessions that I need. Weekend only sessions, as of now we are not planning, but it depends on the number of people
Right.
that are there per batch. As of now we don't have any plans for weekend sessions. I mean, only weekend
Okay.
sessions.
And
Sorry, Shiva, I was not able
regarding
to
this
hear you.
integration, like in the Mule and Tableau integration, are we? Hello,
No, Mule
hello,
needs a license. That is
hello.
entirely a different. Hello, yeah, we can hear you, Shiva. Yep. So integrations,
Right, the integration part, the Mule.
yeah, I'm going there. So MuleSoft is a different course entirely. Okay, if you want to learn integration part, then you have to consider it as a different course, MuleSoft. So but here we'll go with admin and development, but of course I will tell you like how the integration works as well,
Okay.
but I'm not going to cover Mule here. Okay.
Last question from my side. This will be the
That's
last
okay,
question.
you can ask any questions.
Because all the time I was taking the opportunity, I don't want to disturb the others. So there are a lot many CRM tools in the market. Like there is a Pega, I think there is a
Yes.
Colibra. There are a lot many actually. But how the Salesforce is leading? Do you say that this will last for a decade if we choose Salesforce?
Yes. One is, it's a customer friendly tool. First point. Second point, about the security. Third one, continuous I mean, what is it, continuous developments that are happening in Salesforce. These are good enough. And fourth one, I don't have to install any software to use Salesforce in my system. Even to build an application also, I don't have to install anything. So these are the advantages, I would say. So that is where companies are going with. So you can use Salesforce offline as well. You don't have to use internet every time 24/7. You don't have to use internet. You can use Salesforce as offline as well. That is where we'll call it as field service lightning. Like, it's because of the multiple products that Salesforce is having. Okay.
So it will be there for a decade, I- most likely.
Y- yes, of course.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Hello. Hi, Ram.
Yes. Hi Jagdish.
This is Jagdish.
Yep. Tell
Is
me.
that age matters? In the age of 42, can I transform into a developer, Salesforce developer? Can I get any
No.
opportunity?
Okay. I one of my friend's father, who is around 55 years old, he learned Salesforce.
Okay.
He's working in Deloitte, I guess.
Okay. I just at the time of period of 2009 to 2013, I have a platform system admin in Salesforce. I have that much experience. I know the fields and sales for Visual Force pages, custom fields, formulas, triggers, all those. But I don't know about text coding only.
Okay.
Remaining on reports, custom fields, custom reports. I did all this stuff with the help of my friend. Can I learn developing Salesforce developer? Can I become a
Yes, that's
Salesforce
what
developer?
I'm saying. So you attend initial sessions in the development, I would say.
Yeah.
Then you'll
No.
understand the flow easily, right? Because I
Yeah.
would,
Yeah.
because if you ask me, so I came from like the way non-development background only. So I
Yeah.
personally feel if I'm able to learn, everyone can learn. And I have completed architect level. I'm handling an architect position now, which means
Yes.
everyone can handle it. That's what I believe. but again, I'm not supposed to judge other people, right? So that's why I'm saying that you attend initial sessions, development sessions. Of course, you have to
No, no,
learn the admin.
not
But
yet
in the
attended.
sessions, if you felt like okay, you're comfortable, then you can look into it.
Okay.
Understood?
My big question is, can I get opportunities in it? Because so many young kids are fresh pass outs are coming every year. Can I defeat them with? Shall I
Uh,
get opportunity?
but, so of course, yes, but you need to struggle a bit,
Yes. Yes.
right? Like if you are saying that, so the my friend's father that I said that example, like he switched inside the company. So you
Okay.
should
Okay.
either look at that area, or again the same example, or the same thing. Like you should come up with saying that I'm working in Salesforce from this many, maybe 4 5 years. So you should think in a broader perspective, saying that okay, I'm a person who's handling this. For example, let's say you are from management side. You'll say
Yeah.
you will come up with okay, I'm a Salesforce delivery lead where I have
Mm.
delivered 40 50 projects from 4 5 years or 6 years. So
Yeah.
people won't expect a technical questions. I mean, people won't expect okay too many technical questions from Jagdish, because he is
Uh,
having around 40 years of 40 years of age, and which means that he has handled too many projects. Apart from Salesforce, he knows multiple other things, right? I'll see if an issue comes, then how you'll pick the handful of people, how you'll select your team, and
mm.
what condition, what requirements will you be giving to your developers. So the expectations of business will change definitely. As
Okay.
Jagdish learned Salesforce today, I won't compete Jagdish and maybe Satish, who learned Salesforce very recently after coming out of college, right? So that also matters.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
And Ram, are we looking into
So Jagdish,
reports in this during the course, because Tableau is one of the part is the one of the part
so
of Salesforce,
Salesforce
right?
has its inbuilt reporting system, Shiva. So we'll be discussing
Okay,
about that. Salesforce
so we
itself can generate the reports. So
right.
that's a default feature that comes along with your license. So that all those reports and dashboards. So that is more or less that is good enough. You don't have to go with Tableau
Correct.
and all. So that is for complicated data structures.
Okay, okay, got you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Ram,
Yeah, Sadish.
what was your preparation strategy when you start your career in Salesforce? Because you mentioned you are into electronics background.
Okay. So my strategy was, I think this is getting recorded. Uh,
Yes, okay, okay, no
it's no
problem.
strategy. I thought like, I mean, I was no way related to software, is what I used to think. That is where
Mm-hmm.
I used to go to last session, last bench, and sit in the classes also, when especially on
Okay.
the CSE classes.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started, I preferred testing. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
sorry if the other testers are there in the session. Okay, I used to have a very low level kind of expectations on the tester, because tester is the person who will happily sit and test the application which is built by some developers.
Okay.
So it's like, because I'm happy to sit and eat. So I and say okay, here the salt is not there, or in this dish the sweet is high or not. So I thought like okay, I'll be doing the same thing. But to be honest, I started to love the technology. I was passionate about the technology. That is where it pushed me from a position of tester to an architect, I would say.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I don't have
Nice
any
to.
strategy. I thought like okay, I'll just learn one more concept. So there are days where I have deleted the production data also when I
Mm-hmm.
started my career, because I don't have, see, at least now you can get the people, at least out of 10 people you can see 3 4 people speaking about Salesforce in the IT, right? So when
Yeah.
I started, to be honest, I am from. I'm not saying that I'm from a very small kind of village. That kind of stories. I'm from a town in Andhra, so, where my in-laws or my cousins are also working in IT, seniors, maybe
Okay.
4 or 5 years seniors to me. So when I say that Salesforce, they also don't know anything about during that time. And so, if an IT person is not aware of Salesforce, think about a person who is working in your, who is a normal, who is a guy who is not aware of this. They used to ask me, Ram, are you going to sell serve packets, door to door delivery? Because I have sales at the start of my tag, right? Salesforce developer.
Hmm.
I used to listen only sales in that. Okay, are you a person who will deliver surf packets or soap packets?
Ridiculous.
Because they don't know Salesforce. Now, even if I was told the same thing, I used to say yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Slowly, the moment now, if you see the growth, right? One of my junior, who is from a different company, we have multiple vendors. I'm working for a product based organization.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my junior from the other vendor, he said like, sir, I have resigned. So he has 6 years of experience. I'm
Okay.
not sure what other technologies are offering. I casually asked him how much you're getting outside, because he this is just his first offer. Huh? With 6 years of experience, he got, I think, 28 lakhs.
Wow.
Okay, and of course this is not a kind of wow, because recently Salesforce hired a person who is having 60 is 5.6 years of experience, and
Hmm.
Salesforce offered 65 lakhs. Note it down, 65
Oh,
lakhs.
wow.
I don't know what Salesforce will do with that guy. I think he is
Hmm.
into R&D department. Uh,
Oh,
but yeah, that is how the market is.
okay, okay. Thanks for your sharing your experience, Ram. This is really inspiration for me.
Okay, hope people are not finding it bad. I think I took too much.
No, it's very nice session, Ram. So
Okay.
it's very nice. Mm, so you answered all the questions actually. Thanks for the patience.
Okay. Thank you. I think most of you are gone. Okay.
Thank you
So
so much.
thanks for joining, especially on your weekends. Even if the consultancy people said that it is just for 1 hour, you spend more than that, spending your, especially your family time. So really, thanks. I hope I have at least given you a point, not 1% knowledge on Salesforce. Hope this works. So all the best. We'll see how it works in the next session. Okay. Timings and all. You can speak with the consultancy. I think you got the numbers and all, so you can connect with them. Is that clear?
Okay, thanks,
If
Ram. Thanks for
I can
joining
stay
with
for
us.
more time. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for joining with us.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thanks, Ram. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Thanks, Ram.